Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Hedera, aka Hbar. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I just want to ask you guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely. And of course, I do greatly appreciate it. And if you do find any of the information in this video valuable, interesting, useful, whatever the case may be, definitely consider subscribing and turning notifications on, as I also do greatly appreciate that as well. Now, of course, it wouldn't be an Hbar video without me pretty much focusing on Hbar in terms of its price appreciation currently, as well as the trading volume. Now, of course, give CoinMarketCap a little bit of time to fully update here. But overall, we have seen some movement today. Nothing too enticing, honestly. And in general, when we're talking about Bitcoin, I am not sold on us having that nice reversal yet. We barely broke $43,000, and I already seen Twitter pretty much switching to the bullish side points. It's just, I don't know. In my opinion, the point behind a reversal is to have a strong reversal, and Bitcoin lately just has been showing weak price action. I'm not dead set on Bitcoin going anywhere just yet until we do break our key layers, which is 53K to 56K, and we have a long ways to go. Now, in general, Hbar has been making some moves today. It's up about, almost 8%. We can see that on the chart over here. And again, I'm not going to get bullish on the price action at all because, you've guessed it, we have to go to 35 cents. There is a long way ahead of us. The exact 35 centile range, I could actually put that on the chart real quick for you all to see why that's a significant point for us to break. Do you guys see it? Because I see it going all the way back as far as September. Yes, we rejected off of it. We broke a little bit above it, but when we first claimed above it in terms of a nice strength point, we went to the current all-time high. Now, we need to actually have a close above 35 cents for us to actually have a nice impulse above, 35 cents. Lately, we have not seen strong PA on Hbar since as far back as pretty much November. But even back then, it was a decline in price. Honestly, the last good day that we had was November 12th. So, in my mind, we have a long journey ahead, but I do believe that we get there eventually. I think that's going to take a little bit of time, but while things are taking a little bit of time, I do want to talk to you guys and focus on a few things. Specifically, we're going to be talking about Ethereum in this video, but also talking about Hbar and where she stands currently. So first off, we go back a little bit to December 31st. We see Kevin O'Leary, NFTs are going to be bigger than Bitcoin. Honestly, I'm not a big Kevin O'Leary fan, but it would be stupid of me to deny this fact, because when we're talking about tokenization, I know that you guys are probably going to be thinking, NFTs going to be bigger than Bitcoin, JPEGs, like come on. But NFTs are actually changing the game. NFTs are not just JPEGs. Tokenization is truly taken over, and of course he is mentioning, Hedera being a big player here. But when we're talking about tokenization in general, right, I've always said that nearly everything will be tokenized. I've said this multiple times, and I'm sure that those who are watching my videos for a fairly long time are probably just saying, Nick, would you just shut up about the tokenization? But honestly, tokenization in this space is probably one of the biggest pretty much asset classes in the space. I know DeFi is going to be huge. I know there's a lot of areas in the space that are going to be huge, but NFTs in general are getting noticed by a government standpoint, by even banks and financial institutions as well. Like even Swift is moving in on tokenization, saying that it could be by 2027 a $24 trillion market. So yeah, I do think that they are going to be bigger than Bitcoin in terms of NFTs. Non-fungible tokens are definitely going to grow and grow and grow in mass adoption, and of course, in terms of publicity, there's going to be a lot of talks around NFTs very, very soon. Now, we also see Kevin O'Leary saying, if you invest in Microsoft and Google and Amazon, what's the core you're investing in? It's basically software. Bitcoin is actually software. If you're willing to invest in software as an equity, why wouldn't you invest in software such as Ethereum? And that's a lot of software there. But overall, yeah, it is the truth. But of course, in terms of Ethereum, I'd much rather take my bets with, that's right, Hbar, as he even is saying, Bitcoin is software, Ethereum is software, and even Hedera is software. And I will say this, when we're talking about, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, even Apple, right? Like Apple just celebrated hitting $3 trillion in market cap value. What exactly is, Apple really offering? I mean, what are these major companies really offering? Because I don't see a huge selling point for them besides their products and their software. Hedera, in my mind, calling it just software is a very underwhelming way to describe it. Hedera has a lot more use cases behind it than just, hey, it's software. It's a massive network that's truly reinventing the wheel for a lot of major corporations out there, including ServiceNow, which is 80% of the top Fortune 500 companies. Even Neuron, which is focusing on a lot of, nodes being placed in terms of safe places, or I should say safe spaces for, pretty much drones, helicopters, planes, etc. These huge use cases on Hedera are going to flow and blossom in $2 trillion plus ideas and use cases in general. So, I think that just calling it software, very underwhelming and actually very lackluster in general. Again, I'm not a huge Kevin O'Leary fan just because I don't believe that he knows too much about crypto just yet. I think that a lot of his choices are safe, but in general, I don't know if he has done enough research to really kind of communicate on this subject in general. But we do see here from Jordan Freed. Now, talking about Jordan Freed and Kevin O'Leary connecting the dots, we know that Jordan Freed has a lot of connections to Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary is investing into NFT.com, and we do see here. Let me clear this up. Our goal is to support NFTs wherever NFTs exist. Of course, we intend to support Hedera NFTs along with all other NFTs. Protocols are all going to be interconnected. Tribalism and maximalism isn't going to lead the adoption. We need to build bridges. Now, the reason why I include this and the reason why I talk about this is, first off, a lot of people have been asking me, dude, when is NFT.com launching on Hedera? First off, we don't know if it's going to launch on Hedera. It could launch on Ethereum, for an example. We just don't know yet. But I will say this. When he said we need to build bridges, what that made me think of was Hashport. Because Hashport allows for one, essentially one network to communicate with all other networks. So if we're talking about NFT.com being built on Hedera, it would essentially be able to communicate with Ethereum, with Polygon, with pretty much anything else. So overall, what could we see NFT.com being built on? Because the sky's the possibilities there. So there's really no limitations at all. But we do see here Celsius Network support for Hbar staking finally coming early 2022. We do see that here. I think that this is actually a fairly large update because Celsius Network in general is a 208,000 followed overall blockchain network. So I think that this is going to be awesome, and we see other assets being listed here as well. But overall, this is going to be very, very cool, and I'm very excited for this. And I think that you should all be as well, because guess what? As staking launches, it is going to get very, very interesting very, very fast. We know staking adds a ton of value to specific assets. Also, we've seen Bitstamp pretty much mention Hedera. By recently having top 2 billion total mainnet transactions, Hedera continues to be the top or the world's most utilized public ledger. You can fire up your Bitstamp app to get the Hbar token powering dApps, managing NFTs, and securing the Hedera network. So we are seeing a little bit of some marketing happening. I don't know what's happening, but a lot of things are ramping up a little bit with Hedera. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the thing that you've all have been waiting for. I know, I'm sorry for keeping it till the end of the video, but this would be absolutely insane. So in terms of, Hbar replacing Ethereum, what will essentially have to happen for that to occur? Well, first off, this is a nice comparison written by Ali Marguerte, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher that name, but anyways, shout out to her. But she is talking about Ethereum, Solana, Binance Smart Chain, and Hedera, specifically talking about Ethereum gas fees, how the inefficiencies of some of these networks are fairly poor, kind of makes them almost unusable. And then of course we do see Hedera being talked about, and of course she has to mention, and I always have to mention that I am not getting paid by Hedera. Trust me, if I was getting paid by Hedera, I would probably have the best job in the world. But we do see here the last network I want to talk about is the Hedera network. I swear to the crypto gods that Hedera is not paying me, although I'm certainly open to offers. I just really, really love their solution. Hedera is still lesser known, so I tweeted into the void and got some very informative responses from folks who have launched applications on the Hedera network. I asked Ryan Davies, CPO of Yamgo, an AdsDAX platform, what drove his team to choose the Hedera network. And of course, he's talking about scalability. He's talking about the fixed transaction fees were two major factors in the decision as well. And the reason why I talk about this, and they all also are talking about, latency and stuff like that. But the reason why I bring this up, and the reason why I talk about this in general, is because, if we're talking about Ethereum and we're talking about Hbar, I think that Hbar is just a no-brainer situation if you were going to choose Hbar or Ethereum. I mean, from a developer standpoint, from an enterprise standpoint, it's Hedera all day. First off, the gas fees, I mean, they're astronomically overvalued on Ethereum. I mean, it's ridiculous. Not only that, but Hedera is offering the highest grade security measurements, the lowest cost fees, the highest amount of scalability currently, at 500,000 transactions per second on the testnet. And of course, finality is 3 to 5 seconds. It's great. It's incredible. But of course, other platforms have switched to Hedera. We've already seen that happen. They've moved from Hbar or from Ethereum to Hbar. And of course, like they said, they're even mentioning Hashport here being the bridging solution for Hedera, Polygon, and Ethereum. But overall, we already know that Hedera is huge. How do we get to the point where pretty much, this happens? Where I said, what if the SEC targets Ethereum next while Hbar takes the wheel? And we actually see here from, so this is actually a different thing that I wanted to talk about at the end of the video, sorry. We see here, thread, Ethereum holders should take a good look at the smoking gun. Hedera approached DeFi the right way from day one with SAFT over ICO. They're talking about, and also this says down here, that means Ethereum is totally inappropriate to use as a DLT because the whole point is to be distributed and trustless. The problem is the fact that we see here, right? My view for years has been that the Ethereum presale was mostly bought up by a handful of people working in concert. Here, Joe Lubin discusses disguising mega whale purchases to make them look like a legit crowdfunding. And we even see down here, Ethereum presale person can buy unlimited Ether with, pseudonymous. We may limit the size of a single purchase to make it easier to disguise. I mean, it's ridiculous that the fact that this is still, it's out there, and XRP is in a lawsuit because of, selling unregistered securities. But in general, that's on a different subject. They're talking about how essentially Ethereum is a security. We don't have clarification on it not being a security or not. In fact, if we go over here, we do see here, SEC boss won't say if Ethereum is a security. Why is that? We don't get involved in these types of public forums, talking about any one project, one possible circumstance, and give legal advice over the airways that way. And we do see down here, unfortunately, way too many of these are trying to say, well, we are not a security, we are just something else. We know Ethereum held an ICO back in 2014. We know that they sold quite a bit. I think it was like $16 million worth of Ether tokens before the network was even live. And there is still ongoing doing development on Ethereum 2.0 to update the network. In my mind, Ethereum is not safe. Ethereum could easily be the next target here. And we even see Parabolic Hbar actually responding to my tweet saying, hope they do. Hedera played the game right from day one with SAFT over ICO to official filings with SEC under the guidance of two biggest international law firms in the world. In my mind, Hbar is probably one of the safest bets currently. And when we're talking about Hbar, if it does take over Ethereum, say for so Hbar takes the wheel, if we had Ethereum's market cap, I'm just saying, we would be at a 72x. We know Ethereum had a $500 billion market cap this year alone. Well, last year alone, sorry. It would almost be 100x. And I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying, what if? This would be absolutely insane. In fact, from the SEC, they even said Bitcoin is also, under scrutinization for possibly being a security too. I'm just saying, I think a lot of things are going to unfold. And when we're talking about Ethereum 2.0, the next, step for Ethereum, in my mind, there's a lot to look at. There's a lot to be unveiled. In my mind, Ethereum is probably one of the most centralized assets in the space, and I know a lot of ETH holders are probably going to hate me for saying that, but do your research, because in my mind, I think that Ethereum has a target on its back, and I'm just saying the SEC could possibly target them, and if that does happen, I think that the next major asset, the next major, thing that gets spotlighted on and propelled into stardom is probably going to be Hedera, because of this article alone. I mean, it really kind of breaks down, why Hedera Hashgraph, or Hbar in general, is going to be huge. You guys should definitely give it a read. I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously. It's a massive article, but just in general, it really kind of shows you, where Hbar is. And just to kind of wrap this video up, I just want you guys to understand that, anything is possible in this market. When we're talking about Amazon stock, I just talked to you guys about Amazon stock in my other video from the other day. Things do not just go straight up, and it's a process. I know that a lot of people have been holding Hbar for a fairly long time. Trust me, the party is only just beginning. I always like to say the invitations haven't even been sent out, so please be patient. I know that this is being a little bit bearish in general, kind of focusing on where Amazon, was in its bubble and it kind of crashed. I'm not too concerned with that, honestly. I think that we have, a while left in this bull run. I think that we still have a long ways to go. But of course, that is my opinion. I'm holding Hbar. I haven't sold a single Hbar. I've been holding for over a year now, and I will still continue to hold my Hbars closely to me. So with that in mind, I hope that you all enjoyed this. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.